So here recently, the EPA's come out with the strictest standards that you and I have seen in our lifetimes, right?
Sure.
So they're pushing, their big proposal is to have all new car sales by 2030, 50% of that to be EVs, electric vehicles.
Right.
Right? So we all hear
It's pretty
this.
ambitious.
Absolutely ambitious. But, you know, I see in the news here lately that more and more of the CEOs of the auto manufacturers, they've put out statements where they're kind of going the opposite direction. You know, here recently, the CEO of Ford, I believe that they've invested $2 billion last year and they have $3 billion invested this year. In the first quarter of this year, 2023, they had to stop production on their very successful EV, the Ford F-150 Lightning. The sales of that's been pretty good. I think that's been helping Ford, right? But they had to stop production of that vehicle because the batteries have been catching fire.
Yeah.
So they have an issue with that.
Right.
Okay. Well, he recently came out and he said, hey, you know, not necessarily going to put all of our, eggs in the basket of EV. He's talking about his hybrid, his EcoBoost. I think they have a new 5.5 liter twin turbo EcoBoost hybrid.
Right.
So he's kind of talking to, the muscle car and the truck guys, the Raptor guys that want the power, that we're not necessarily ready to go full EV. We're going to, obviously make these hybrid engines a little bit cleaner so we can meet these stringent EPA standards in the near future. Another CEO recently in the news for Honda, he kind of came out and shocked the EV world as well. And he said, hey, yes, we do have EV vehicles now. They even have a partnership with Sony. And I believe that EV car is scheduled to come out sometime next year. And it's going to be trying to give Tesla a run for their money with all their onboard computing and everything.
Right.
I mean, this thing's going to have like 45
It's
sensors.
a computer on wheels, right?
Yeah, it's Sony. I mean, they're great with AI and all that technology. So it's going to be a very technology advanced vehicle, EV, okay? They've also come out recently and talking about their partnership with General Motors, Honda has. So I think they have a couple of new SUV models coming out for next year. But what I thought was interesting is the current CEO for Honda, he has like 30 plus years of engine development with Honda. He's done their R&D. He's worked on their, top of the line, like the R edition.
So he knows a thing or two.
So he knows. And his statement basically is that, combustion engines are going to be into, the next, in the 2030s, 2040s, right? So he's seeing that even through 2040, the combustion engine is going to be an available option with Honda Motors.
Right.
Whether that be all hybrid, or it also could be a combustion engine that is fueled off of hydrogen fuel. So even with the EPA standards coming down really hard on all of us by 2030, the auto manufacturers, they're stating that our consumers aren't telling us that they want all EVs. We've talked in the past about...
Well, they're expensive, aren't they?
They are. They're expensive. Not everybody, can afford even, the base model one. It just depends what manufacturer. I know Chevrolet, they pushed a lot of development and money into their all-electric Hummer. And I read something the other day. Do you know how many sales the electric Hummer has given Chevrolet in the first quarter of 2023? I
don't have a clue.
2.
2 vehicles?
Yeah, and the one vehicle that they were talking about eliminating their electric Bolt.
The Bolt, yes.
I think that sold, I think it was like 19,000 units sold.
In a quarter.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Sometimes, they have the best intentions, but it's really what the consumer wants and what they can afford, right?
Well, I thought I read something recently that they're going to give up the Bolt in favor of more of a crossover SUV and a pickup truck by the end of this year. So they're going to give up those Bolt sales next year.
Right.
And they're going to try to pigeonhole the consumer into a slightly larger, heavier vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Interesting, though.
Very interesting. You know, and the CEO of BMW, same thing. He doesn't want to focus all EV. He wants to give the consumer the option. You know, and BMW has done hydrogen motors all the way back to 97.
Mm-hmm.
You know, their 750, their big flagship. And they have one that they've done here recently, a 12-cylinder, runs on hydrogen. So I think there's still going to be the need in our recycling industry for you know, decades to come. There's still going to be opportunity there with recycling. I mean, I know the hydrogens will have spark plugs. They won't have a catalytic converter that we're used to. They'll have some type of a converter.
Right.
But I mean, obviously, what's the advantage of having a hydrogen car? I mean, what comes out the tailpipe?
Very little.
Yeah. I mean, it's nothing there.
Right.
So, but I was encouraged, you know, to kind of hear the CEOs. Their mindset is that, you know, also, you know, we don't have the infrastructure built to be able to charge all these cars
It'll take decades.
nationwide.
It really will.
You know?
I think I read recently that in Great Britain there were these free charging stations across, I guess, a certain part of England. And within a year, 40% of them have been dismantled and removed.
Wow. That's interesting.
Well, because electricity is expensive and they don't want to give it away for free.
Right. Well, what's going to happen here? The same thing, right? They're proposing everybody, you know, no more new home sales with gas stoves. They want electric.
Yeah.
Electric dryers, electric heaters, electric this,
that's what they
electric
say,
cars.
yeah.
I mean, what is that going to do to the cost of electricity?
Well, it's just going to put a tremendous stress on the grid.
Absolutely. I mean, living in California, we see that every summer. We go through it every year.